Hello and welcome to another episode of Straight from the Training Ground. I'm Jay. This is Roz. Glad to have you with us. The podcast where we share our love for the beautiful game and the people out in their communities doing beautiful things. Roz, I think it's really cool interview, really cool topic we have this week. Don't want to spoil it yet, but a local amateur team in the New York area have been doing some great things for a long time. But I think what's really cool, I hope people get out of this or any of our listeners, is the magic and the excitement that can go on in a community regarding soccer, obviously, but regarding um, Open Cup situations, and we're talking about the U.S. Open Cup. If you don't know what that is, it's the U.S. version of the FA Cup. To me, Ryan, I know we have different perspectives because you grew up in the UK where that kind of thing is prevalent in household conversations. But here, my own experiences, when people ask me about soccer, I always tell them that to me personally, like the FA Cup is the greatest annual sporting event that exists to me. And then, I liken it to everyone's enthusiasm for March Madness, which is going on right now, the basketball tournament. But the FA Cup is just an open, cup competition of teams from all levels. And then the U.S. Open Cup has also been going on here in the U.S. for a long time. And it just is a chance to give, it gives every guy out there, every amateur team, every lower level team a chance, right, for that big run to play against a big team.
Yeah, absolutely. The U.S. Open Cup, in my opinion, is probably one of the most undersold sporting yearly events in U.S. sports landscape. I mean, it's, as you said, any team can enter. I mean, it could be a local amateur team. It could be uh, any sense, and they can go and play a Major League Soccer team, an MLS team. So it's that opportunity doesn't exist in some of the big three other sports or big four other sports in this country. And U.S. Open Cup, like you said, has been modeled, or it was similar to the FA Cup. It is a great opportunity, and I think we'll see in this interview with Lansdowne Yonkers, who we're going to speak to, is how the U.S. Open Cup's really catalyzing their club in terms of bringing it out a little bit more into the national awareness in national soccer circles, because they've had a big victory. They've got another game coming up on Tuesday, and they're just an amateur club. So it's really is, and you said the right word. It's the magic of that experience, having a local club play against a major league, the potential to play against a major league club.
And what I liken it to for people around here, if they're unfamiliar with it, is a lot like an open tournament that goes on throughout the season of, let's say, for example, in this country, baseball, where it's like your local amateur men's baseball team could enter into a tournament, and after they win a couple of games in the initial rounds, all the big boys enter, right? And then all of a sudden, you have the chance, and it could be the draw, the luck of the draw, the hat, where a Major League Baseball team comes to town and plays against your team, and it's not a seeded competition necessarily where the amateur team plays away. It'd be like, the Major League Baseball team could come to your town and play on your ground in your little community stadium, right? Against an amateur team, a semi-pro team. And obviously the excitement and those kind of things are what you hear, stories and legendary tales of people who have experienced those things just go on for generations.
Well, I think the exciting bit about it is what it does for the community that's
Yeah.
involved. And we've seen that in the FA Cup over the years, where a team that's a semi-professional team in like the seventh tier of English soccer has gone and beat a Premier League team, and it's a massive impact to that local community. I think that kind of suggests why the U.S. Open Cup's not being so big here, is because the impact is specifically for the community involved, and it's not so much a long-term financial opportunity. So maybe that's why U.S. Soccer hasn't put its chips, so to speak, on the U.S. Open Cup, which is a bit of a shame. But I think this interview, we're talking to Lansdowne Yonkers and what it's doing for their community, and also not just their community, their league, the East Coast League there. I think it's really kind of eye-opening.
Yeah, it's really cool. And hopefully, for all of our listeners out there, hopefully you gain some knowledge or maybe a newfound love, which really is what we're here from all about, from straight from the training ground for a local team. So, again, we encourage you to get out there online, look on social media, support some local teams, find a story somewhere that you can fall in love with and it doesn't matter what level it is. Just there's a lot more local soccer out there that's a really high level that I think people aren't aware of. They just see the MLS teams and things that you see on TV. But there are a lot of other teams out there like these guys and clubs and local communities that you can go out and support, and they need your support. And obviously, Ryan, you can attest to that from the OVPL and the Highlanders team. Everyone wants that kind of support, and they want to build that kind of culture within their community.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when you got a team like this, like mine, and other amateur teams, I think it's all about being involved in the community, whether that's relationships just with fans, showing up at games, whether it's with kids' youth soccer arrangements, whether it's commercial, maybe kind of relationships with some of the businesses, local business communities to help promote them, or whether as well as a tourism aspect, you're promoting your city to a region, to a broader region.
Yeah,
it all matters.
absolutely. So without any further ado, here's our interview with Lansdowne Yonkers FC. All right, and now we're very glad to have with us Pat Murphy from Lansdowne Yonkers FC, a men's amateur team that's done very well recently in the U.S. Open Cup.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me. It's an honor.
Real quick, Pat, so just tell everybody, what is your role within the club?
So I'm the club's official media director. I kind of expanded into that role just in the last couple of years. Originally, I started off just streaming the games. It came from meeting the club president during the pandemic about, I run a tech and media consulting business. So I just kind of pitched the idea that maybe, during this pandemic, since we can't have fans at the games, let's stream some of your home games. It turned into doing the whole season, and just really blew up from there. And then sometime later, they said, "Hey, can you do the regular content creation?" And I just kind of started running the sites and all the media related assets.
Pat, that's fantastic. Go on. I was going to jump in, Jay. So you don't, and also this has helped you grow your business a little bit. So this is really organic stuff. And you said off air, you're saying you do other games as well, other teams.
Yeah. So of course, like I said before the recording, it started off with just a simple camera encoder and a laptop. But as this thing really blew up, because it kind of became a little bit of a like a phenomena in the local area. So of course, I had to constantly improve the product. So I kept buying better gear, better cameras, a 16-foot pole, and it got to the point where it was basically unsustainable to do just one team. So other teams started reaching out. So I ended up adding Manhattan Celtic, the New York Greek Americans, Westchester Flames, a few other teams in the area. I've done some regional finals, amateur cup finals. So it really did blow up and become a respectable arm of my company.
Well, we're not to that level yet, but it must be nice.
Yeah. Oh no, it's an honor. I mean, look, I even before when I was in high school, I used to work in the and our local cable companies student media stuff. They had like high school games recorded, and at one point I could have had an internship with the ESPN at the end of the 12th grade, but it was too far away from my house, so I didn't do it. And to really fall back into this stuff in my late 20s is just, it's just an interesting story of its own.
Yeah, really cool. And so, you started out as a fan originally, right? All this came from just being a fan.
Yeah. So, I want to give credit to the Fot Mob app for first letting me know that their Open Cup games were on. We all live in the same neighborhood, and we're pretty much walking distance from each other. But I think I was at it was actually a Cosmos Jersey Express game, and I was looking at other Open Cup games on my phone, and I saw Lansdowne Boys, and I recognized the logo from some stickers I saw in my neighborhood. So I saw they had won a match against the USL team. I was so fascinated by that scenario that I had to do some research, and I found out that there was this really strong amateur team in my neighborhood. So I became a fan, and then 4 years later, I met the club president at a charity event during the pandemic. We were handing out food to people who were laid off from work, and the magic just started from there.
Pat, that's fantastic, and it really does speak to like local community involvement and stemming something else is what you're involved in. But just kind of with a little bit of focus for this on Lansdowne, can you tell us a little bit about the club? I'll be honest with you, they popped on my radar with your recent US Open Cup win, which it kind of hit social media. So congrats on you on putting that outreach out there. But I just tell us a little bit about the club and for the people who are watching that may not be based in New York.
So yeah, and it's also a coincidence that the Lansdowne is actually a product of the the old Lansdowne bar, which was in the neighborhood next to ours. This goes back in the 1990s. So when the owner of the Lansdowne bar founded it, he actually put a locker room upstairs with the intention of hosting all these local teams. So when the first club to come through it was actually Lansdowne Rugby in '93, and then sometime in between that, the local Celtic Supporters Club made the Lansdowne their home, and they founded Bronx Boys FC because you know how they nicknamed Celtic the Boys.
Yeah.
Bronx Boys FC were founded. They competed in the Cosmopolitan League. At some point, the Lansdowne bar closed in 2001, but that led to the eventual evolution of the Bronx Boys becoming Lansdowne Boys in honor of that original bar. They moved into Yonkers, and then but between 2014 and now, they won 5 league championships and 5 national championships. And in that span, they absorbed a local youth club that New York Red Bulls' Ryan Mira actually is a graduate of, Yonkers United. So when they merged with Yonkers United, they rebranded the team as Lansdowne Yonkers FC, and that's where we are today.
Excellent. Just one more thing for me, Jay. So we hear a lot here about OVPL, NPSL, USL2, and so forth. But what league do they actually play in?
So Lansdowne compete in the EPSL. And to give a better background on what the EPSL is, because I'm actually involved in the EPSL myself. The EPSL, are you guys familiar with the Cosmopolitan League?
That's up the East Coast, right? That's in the New York.
It's actually the New York City area, state/metro area league. Okay. So there was always an idea. Now those are the guys that are the real powerhouses. If in all respect to USL2 and NPSL, those kind of just they don't really have like the same type of grassroots. It's just guys saying I'm founding a club. But leagues like the Cosmopolitan League and the Chicago League, those have the clubs that go back 100 plus years and won Open Cups over the last century. And the idea behind that was with the EPSL was to combine the historic leagues of the CSL and the Bay State League, which we hope can join, Maryland Majors, CASA and Delaware. And Philadelphia, Delaware River Valley, to make a promotion relegation regional league that those Fantastic. Local teams can promote themselves into and really build a powerhouse out of an independent system. Now, originally it was meant, and it still is technically affiliated with NISA, but there are plans to just try to develop as a national league itself. So at some point in the last year, EPSL made a partnership with all the other, regional Premier Leagues like OVPL, MWPL, to make national standards for this type of setup, and hopefully maybe somewhere in the future make a national championship out of that.
So you're kind of advocating for the pro rel kind of push, which is going on in youth soccer.
I mean, definitely. Look, I want to first put it out there that being pro rel doesn't mean I'm anti MLS or anything like that. I do think that everybody has the right to pushing out their own product and the way that they want to run things, and I think that this is a good product for clubs that want to adopt that growth model. And I do think it's led to the great growth of a lot of clubs that are otherwise kind of slipping through the cracks. So hopefully, I do think that somewhere down the road in our lifetimes that it could create a full pro rel structure with MLS or the leagues below it. But I know that it's going to take time and proper convincing of investors.
Gotcha. Jay?
Oh, that's great. You talked a lot about community, and that's, we're here on Straight from the Training Ground. We're all about that. We love what you guys are doing. How would you explain to people out there, for as long as you've been affiliated with it, the effect, the positive things that they've done within the community of having an amateur team?
Well, look, so if you ever come to this neighborhood, community is the main and most important thing you could do. We're a very tight-knit community. I think every time I bring a friend or some sort of guest from another area, and they walk around this area and see that everyone knows and talks to each other, it's that true community feel that that people feel is lost in the New York area. Lansdowne's commitment to it, it's great. Yonkers United was always a thing that I knew about when I was growing up as a kid in the youth soccer sphere. But the way that Lansdowne has expanded it, especially with European professional level training and coaching to kids, has really brought a higher standard ball to the local children. It's definitely keeping a lot of kids off the streets. Where the program is actually very affordable to a lot of competing programs in the area, and I'm talking like sometimes even 20 or 10% of what it costs to go to some of the programs. I'm serious, and to get 400 or 500 kids involved in the program, and seeing bumper stickers and just people wearing jerseys when you walk around, more Lansdowne paraphernalia than you would see Red Bulls and NYCFC, which is really impressive. I think it's had a profound impact, and it's creating better humans in the area.
Well, Pat, that really kind of leads into my question there about the youth system. Is it just a men's team, or do you have a youth feeder team that comes into it, or do you just kind of agnostic and you pick from whoever or whatever? What's the setup there?
So right now it's still in a process of connecting, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
right now our highest age group is the U18s, and we were actually just talking about this last night at the training ground. And the idea is like, what is the next step with this, right? So there's the senior team, there's the pub level Metros team that plays in the CSL3, and then there's all these youth teams. And we do think that when the U18s keep growing up, that we're going to try to keep these teams going, U19, U20, U23, and the idea is to expand on the level of clubs, and it's obviously going to require more investment and maybe some additional registration fees. We'll figure that out. But yeah, the idea is down the road we would love to have our senior team, all of our youth teams, a women's team, and just every pipeline that can grow. Because we even have a girls set up on the girls end, and I think the highest age group for that is U16. So the idea is to keep growing until everything bridges together. That's definitely the goal.
Yeah, I think that's really smart. And in my own personal 2 cents on it is, if you can offer a quality program, but do it at way lower the price of what you see in the youth soccer industry in the US, you're onto a winner. And it sounds like you guys have the resources in the community to be able to deliver that. So that's excellent.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, look, it's it's very expensive to live in the New York area, as you probably know, and a lot of the folks that we see come to the training ground, sending their children, they're working class people. They're just very glad to have an outlet for their kids to be getting in some exercise, but at the same time, helping them discover that they have a talent for sports and maybe make that a part of their lives in the greater capacity.
Yeah,
that's awesome. You guys, so just to tell you, go back a little bit, you guys had a big win last week in the U.S. Open Cup. And looking at your schedule, now you have a league game this Sunday night, correct? And then another big Open Cup game Tuesday.
So it's funny that you mentioned that. I actually run the website. So right before this call, we're in discussions to try to see if we can move that league game to Thursday. It's the
inside scoop on Straight from the Training Ground.
Look, we're willing to accept any challenge, but we also know that this is a collective effort from just everyone around us to hopefully help us succeed. Look, if the opponent that we're facing on Sunday was in the Open Cup, we would love to do the same thing for them. And to their credit, they actually reached out to us to offer the ability to move the game to Thursday.
Oh, great.
So it's something that we're working on right now. Look, we'll figure out what happens on Tuesday. I'm feeling pretty good. That'll be a win. But I think we'll go there on Thursday to Roosevelt Island and still win out of the game, even if all guys are burnt out.
That's fantastic. So you guys play 7:00 Eastern against Hartford Athletic, correct? And I'm assuming that will be on ESPN, the app again?
No. So here's the other funny story.
Okay.
So I'm proud to say that for the first time since I've done streaming in my business, that I'm the one actually streaming the match. I found out that through the memo that US Soccer had sent, that if your match is not covered by ESPN, I'm sorry, they actually don't even have ESPN Plus this year. They have Bleacher Report. If your match is not covered by Bleacher Report, your club reserves the right to take its provider to submit an application that if they meet the standards, they are granted access to stream the event. So on Monday at 9 a.m., I sent an email instantly to submit an application. They got back to me Tuesday at 1:00 while I was working with another client, and I literally just jumped out of my chair and said yes. Like I was shocked that I was having this opportunity.
That's great.
Just yesterday they sent me an email saying that they're hooking me up with the local stadium staff. So I'm bringing on a lot of gear and a little other surprise I'm working on. I might be able to get Tommy Smith as a commentator.
No way.
On Tuesday. Yeah.
Sirius XM, right? Irishman Tommy Smith.
Yep. Yeah. I have him in my texts right now, and he's definitely working on getting there. I'm feeling pretty confident about it because I've worked with him before for Lansdowne matches. So to have him there on Tuesday would be a massive coup, and hopefully put out a really great product.
That's fantastic. Okay.
So now, where can they find that? Will it be on your website, or where will the link be on?
Yeah. So actually, I see that you're on the Lansdowne website right now. I actually already embedded the link in the match page when you go to the Lansdowne Yonkers versus Hartford Athletic game. So
okay, let me on the schedule.
Yep.
Okay.
You'll see a little.
You'll be commentating with Tommy. You're saying?
Yes. Yeah. So to Tommy's credit, he's he clicked the thing that says Hartford Athletic. Sorry, I think you're yeah, and then scroll down. Yep, video's right there. So just save that link, and you can watch the match on YouTube. But I'll also have it on other social media as well. I like to put everything everywhere. Yeah. So I understand that Tommy he does the Grumpy Pundit show. Mm-hmm. But I'm pretty sure he's not following every single day what's going on in the amateur world. So I told him, I want him to do the play-by-play, and I'll fill in with the color commentary.
That's fantastic. Well, if you got the green and the hoops and stuff, Tommy will be all for it anyway. So I don't think. But that's fine. Well, we'll definitely share that through our network too. This is really exciting. It's good stuff.
Oh yeah, no, look, this is all. I'm really still trying to take this all in the last few days. I mean, when I saw that match against Rochester on it back in 2016, I'd always dreamed of this day that we can get a major win against a USL side team, which we've done before. We've beaten Pittsburgh Riverhounds back in 2016. But if we can get this major win and possibly face an MLS team in round 3, it'd be the coolest thing I've ever seen in the world of soccer, especially on a local level. And to find out by extension that I'm going to be the one covering that possible historic moment is just like, I can't believe it.
That's awesome, man. And, really the best thing is that we love to try to get that word out to people, the magic, of a local team like yours, what they're doing in the community, and just the magic of what, soccer and a big cup run like you're talking about, what that brings to a community. I think a lot of people still don't really understand.
I think that's the greatest part of U.S. soccer is that I think it's of course you want to watch 50,000, 60,000 plus crowds in MLS and see them in Atlanta, the Portland, all that stuff. But I think like the real magic is when you go to these smaller teams in the amateurs and the semi-pros and just seeing that like a real community club experience. Like I think it's something like anything else. It's what we always fantasize when we watch all these these brotherly like fraternal things with people following teams in England. Like it's always existed here in the United States for 100 plus years, and it's great to bring this to the mainstream so that we could possibly get more fans.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I mean, that's that last point you said. It's as always been here, right? It's just never been there in the mainstream. So that's really, really good.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. It's like, I mean, I like the Lansdowne. People think of it as like a small time thing playing in some sort of Sunday league, but 4 times a season we're playing Open Cup winners. New York Greek Americans are still to this date tied for most Open Cups from any active team in America right now. And then when they play the Pan Cyprian Freedoms, they're tied for second. They have 3 Open Cup titles. That's more than Red Bulls, NYCFC, and New York Cosmos combined, which is 0. So like any of these guys have more Open Cups than them, and it's like the average soccer fan probably doesn't know this.
Exactly. Well, we love it. That's what we're all about here straight from the training ground. And Pat, just really appreciate you. And I know you've probably had a really crazy schedule the last few days during this U.S. Open Cup run, but we really appreciate you taking the time to hang out with us a little bit. Obviously, we're going to be big followers now of the club. And, best of luck to the team and their U.S. Open Cup game Tuesday night. Make sure you check out their website for the link and for your great broadcast. Hopefully you can get Tommy Smith in there with you in the booth. We'll look forward to that. And thank you so much, man, for just sharing the story and everything you guys are doing in your community.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me here. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks, Pat.
Take care.
Visit our new partners, UnoZero at UnoZero.com, where classic beauty and quality meet modern design and elegance for football boots and more. Join our official partners at Dutig Brand FC, where they create quality products to make your lives easier as coaches. Visit our partners at TractionSocks.com for performance grip socks created for all athletes.